Hi, everybody. Welcome to the very first episode of the Idle Park Talk Show. What a befitting way to start this journey, but to talk about everything mothering. So, to talk about motherhood, we have two special guests today. My very good friend Christina Njongwe. She's been my friend for a very long time. She's a mother of a 6 month old baby. She's also a communication expert, so she's going to be sharing her experiences with us.
We also have on the other side Dr. Mrs. Teresa Folifolk, who has been a mother for 18 years plus. One could say she's a pro at
She's a big
this.
pro.
So we are looking forward to having Dr. T share her experiences. And to start, could you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Um, well, like I said, my name is Asongna Folefok. Well, Teresa Folefok as well. That's fine, and I'm known in Calgary as Dr. T. I am a clinical researcher, and I have three amazing kids of my own and two
Wow.
adult step children. So
So your hands are full, you will say.
I would say my hands are full, but I am enjoying it.
I bet you are.
So my name is Christina Jongwe, but I go by Tina. I'm a first-time mom, and this is he just turned 7 months actually. So I am a communications coordinator in Calgary, and I graduated from journalism. I studied journalism, and I graduated in 2018, and I had my son October 2020. And it's been an interesting journey because I actually had my son during the Corona period. So
Yeah.
interesting being a mother during the Corona period.
That was an experience on its own, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean, just the whole vibe and everything. Because you can have people
Right.
around. Yeah, so just having your son in a kind of locked up environment, not having a lot of people around to come and visit your son, and you're having your son in a closed down environment. He doesn't
Yeah.
get to see people a lot, so it's
So
pretty
there
interesting.
was restrictions into those who could come visit you in the hospital at the time, right?
Yeah, there were restrictions. So at the time when I put to birth, we allowed two people. So
Yeah.
I went in with my spouse and a friend of mine. So usually you could have a lot of visitors coming and out, but then there were no visitors allowed. So you could have only two people at a time.
Oh,
So
interesting.
yeah.
So has parenting been different during this coronavirus period?
I would say it has been different. It's like a lot different from what we all know because
Right.
coronavirus is something that we have never experienced
Yeah.
No
before.
one
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's a new thing in the world. Like 100 years ago,
I
there was the
know.
Spanish flu, and then this one just dropped on us.
Mhm.
And you have to like adjust to the way you parent students. Children have to go to school,
Right.
or they don't have to go to school. They have to stay at
Right.
home and do online studies. There is a lot that goes on. You need to be able to supervise
Right.
them, know what they are doing online, whether they're attending classes
And I
or
think
not.
that you're bringing up
Yeah.
an interesting topic. It's really interesting times for mothers who have to juggle work and having children stay at home. And I don't know how you guys are coping, but it's tough.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, for me personally, because I'm on mat leave,
Right.
so I'm not really looking forward to when I resume work in August. I'll say that. Yeah, but just looking at how mothers are doing, like just juggling, because homeschool is not easy, right?
not.
So I assume that it's been a full plate for you.
oh, I would say, yeah, because with kids, you can never tell what is
Right.
going on in their heads. And then there are mothers who at one point they will complain about their teachers, their children's teachers, and then now it drops in front of you.
I know, right?
Now you have to take part in that teaching. So you need to learn
Right.
how to like put your children in like a classroom
Right.
kind
Mhm.
of situation.
Would you
Yeah.
say mothers are more appreciative of teachers now?
Absolutely.
I hope so. I mean,
Absolutely.
Because if you know what it means to have the attention of 10-year-old, 12-year-olds for like an hour and to get them to study, I bet it's really challenging.
Definitely, it is hard, but in every situation, you say you are learning, right? With kids from birth right up to where they are now.
Right.
For me, it has been a
Learning
learning
process,
process,
right.
and then the whole corona came and add into the mix.
Yeah.
You
It's a
have
whole
to
new
keep
thing.
learning. Yeah.
It is a new thing.
So just coming back to who's a mom, who's a mother, who would you say is a mother?
Ooh.
Wow. Um, to me, a mother, that's a tricky question because for me, the definition of mother is so vague.
Right.
Yeah.
I know many people understand mother like the person that birthed you,
Mhm.
but then we have a lot of people who play so many important roles
Yeah.
in kids' lives. We have like you could have an aunt that plays a
Yeah.
crucial role. Like
Right.
she trains you, she's brought you up. You have sisters. So I think to me, mother is someone that nurtures, like takes care of
Yeah.
a child, that brings you up, that raises you. So and this could go to like stepmoms,
Right.
adopted moms, different kinds of moms. So it's not limited. What do you think?
Yeah, I would say, like you said, it's not necessarily the one who gives birth
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
a child that can be called a mom. If you have a lot of love in you to share with a kid, then
Right.
try to bring up a child. I believe with love,
Right.
anybody can be a mother.
I
Yeah.
think it's also important for like women who, by some circumstances, not of their own being, can have children, right?
Exactly.
And they
Absolutely.
have so much love to share, right? Like we can't exclude them from celebrating Mother's Day.
Exactly.
Oh no, we can't. I mean, you'll be surprised because there's a lot of women out there, like even though they don't have kids,
Right.
but they really play that mother role for a lot of kids out there. So I feel like they should be included
Yeah.
in this conversation,
Right.
and yeah, we can't leave them
Well,
out.
think about all the moms who have to go to work. Who's taking care of the children? Is grandma or some aunt or sometimes even a nanny, right? Those
Yeah.
people
Yeah,
also-
they play that
They play
motherly
that mother
role
role.
when the mother is not
Right.
around. So they have love to offer the kids, and the kids are growing up seeing them playing that
Right.
motherly role. You
So-
can't exclude them from
So,
that.
so what I hear is we're talking about not being nurturing. We're talking
Yeah.
about loving. So it's not just childbirth. It could be adoptions. But I would ask a little bit more. This one is a little bit more tricky. What about gay men, for example, or transgender men who have I mean, how? Yeah. What about those?
That's a good question. Are you going to go first?
Well, I would say that one is a
I
bit.
promise you guys are not going to get in trouble, so you can say what you
Yeah.
Well, what I feel is that it's something that culturally is
Right.
not what I grew up with.
Mhm.
I am still trying to learn the whole gay and lesbian kind of situation. It's still a learning thing for me. Culturally, I never grew up with it, and then society just throws it at you. You need to be able to understand where they're coming from, how
Right.
they operate, what do they have to offer. If
Right.
they have that genuine love
Right.
for kids, I know back in my own culture, it's like there is a structure
Right.
in terms of bringing up kids. But I think if we open up, we try to like learn more from what the society is throwing at you, you may understand better, and then maybe accepting or rejecting.
Right.
It's
So
up
mean
to you.
understand better where they're coming from. The transgender, is that what you mean?
Well, understanding what is in them that makes them who they are, right?
I would like to
Tina, you think?
I like to think. I want to make the distinction between gay people and transgender
Right.
when it
Right.
comes
I
when
think
it
it's
comes
important make
to
that distinction, right.
when it comes to like motherhood and that love we're talking about.
Yep.
So when it comes to gay, like we all know where we come from, it's not something that we really grew up with. So it's something that we have had to probably like learn. I know a couple of people who are gay. When it comes in terms of a child, though, as long as I would say, as long as the child gets love,
Yeah.
that's the key thing. So to be able to love the child, I really don't want to. What two grown adults are doing
Yeah.
in terms of consent,
Yeah.
they are. But as long as they're able to love the child the way they should love the child and show that love to the child and bring up the child in the right way and instill the proper values in the child, that's that's I think that's a good thing. When it comes to transgender, that's something I really don't understand yet. So I'll say my idea or my knowledge about that it's really limited, just because of all the modalities that are around transgenderism, in terms of like being a trans woman or trans man. Yeah.
I was hoping we were going to talk on that a little bit.
Yeah.
I being a mother,
Mhm.
and I'm going to be very firm here. I think
Yeah.
only women can be mothers. And when we start putting transgender, I know it's good to be considerate to people, right?
Mhm.
But only a woman has a uterus. Only
Absolutely.
a woman can labor. Only a woman can. And I feel like it's defeating the purpose of Mother's Day when we begin to include people who were male and then become female. I'm
But
sorry.
but if we all agree that it's not just about who gave birth to a child,
Y-
then don't you think it makes sense to consider who else
Yeah.
is helping in that role?
Exactly. That is where I wanted to
Yeah.
go to. So if we consider that it's not like your biological,
Right.
you are not the one who gave
Right.
birth to the child, but you are a mother because you have love for a child. So when it comes to that situation, I think there is like a gray line there.
It
that
is.
Yeah.
we need-
Yeah.
yeah.
And I agree with you
So-
guys, but from Tina, you want to go?
So to me, this is where the distinction comes. Like we're talking about showing love to
Right.
showing love to your child. So who can be a mother?
Right.
And the only thing I feel like I kind of I shake my head to it is
Right.
when you start changing all these terms
Okay.
that were meant for women, and then you start making
Giving
it
them
to
to yeah.
Like men can
vague.
menstruate too.
yeah, and when you start calling mothers like burden people
or
instead of
persons.
just saying
Exactly.
yeah, like women or mothers, like just taking that term, because I feel like that it means a lot, especially as women. And I don't know, maybe you can attest to that. I feel like women have fought so much to be heard,
Right.
and
Then there's
so
a
to take that away from them just because you want to include people, I feel like that's not fair.
Yeah.
Well, when that's a different thing than taking care of a child.
Yeah.
Everyone's capable of taking care of a child, and that's okay. I just the gray line, the line between
I
respecting the women and giving,
I can,
in
I
the
can,
inclusive
see, I can
things, yeah.
see where the gray line is, but let me just chip in here. To mother means you have to be a mother, and only women can be mothers. I'm sorry to say that. Showing love, anybody can show love.
Yeah.
Fathers show love differently from the ways mothers show love, and I think when we start getting nuance and we start making this distinction, and I'm not trying to infringe on anyone's right to feel the way they want to feel, but it is very clear to me that only women can give birth, which is one of the main primary defining characteristics of being a mother. So I'm sorry, but we can't. And when we do that, we begin to diminish the importance of mothers too.
Values, right?
Then you start going to persons. So there's no clear definitions of who a mother is.
Well, yeah, I agree with you, but if we have to include people who didn't give birth, like your aunt, or let's say an
Right.
aunt who never had the opportunity of birthing
Yeah,
a child, where does she
That's
come
true.
in, right?
That's true.
Well, it doesn't mean she belongs to
Yeah.
the other class
Yeah.
that we are talking
Right.
about, but she is
She's
still a mother.
yeah.
So if we put that and then we put the other group
Yeah.
of people, it's
Like
Are
where
you
you draw the
trying-
boundary,
Exactly.
right?
Are you trying? Are you trying to like the distinction between? Because what you're saying is like only. Are you trying to say only women give birth?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I guess maybe I'm making a
Is it
false
the
dichotomy there.
because I get what you're saying. If it's only women give birth, I feel like that's
Yeah.
biology says
Yeah.
it's true.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when it comes
Mothering
to
is a little bit
motherhood,
different, yeah.
motherhood is a little bit different.
Yeah, I agree with that. I
There's
think that's a good
lot
point
of
that you
people.
make
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe I'm conflating giving birth and mothering.
Yeah.
But the two they're intricately linked together. Like they can be expanded, like we all agree, right?
Exactly, yeah. Motherhood and like giving
Giving
birth,
birth.
it's like two different things,
Yeah.
right?
Different things.
You can be a mother without
Giving.
having given birth
That's,
to a
that's I
child.
To a
totally,
child,
agree-
yes.
totally agree with that.
Okay. So what does motherhood mean to you? As an individual, not generally speaking, as an individual, what does that mean to you?
Motherhood. That's
Or what does being a mom, what does being a mother mean to you?
I'll say, as the first time I'm speaking from my experience,
Yeah.
because you realize like how your life just takes a U-turn,
Yeah.
and just to have someone that you care for more than yourself, it's hard. Personally, I never thought it. I love myself so much. I'm serious. I never thought I'll put anyone
Right.
above me. It's always me first. I'm sorry, but just to have, like, ever since I had my son, it's like I'm looking at him. It's like, oh, I'll rather fall before he falls. So just that notion, that love, that to take care of that person, that I feel like I can't really explain it, but it just
There's an
comes. Yeah,
attachment that
there's that
it's
attachment.
beyond
Like you
being
feel
able to,
like
yeah.
you do everything for this person, and that's a new feeling. It's kind of amazing.
It's a good feeling, isn't it?
It's a good feeling. It's scary, but it's a good feeling that wow, you actually love someone more
Than
than
you
you
love yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. To me, is that like selfless feeling that, like she said, it just comes, and you have these people that you have to like give your life for, right? You can like put aside all your needs and your wants just to satisfy these little people that you brought to the world. You want to see them prosper, you want to see them grow to be beautiful people, and you put all your own like ambitions, your needs, your wants, and then you throw it all to them and make sure they are good people in the society. To me, that's what motherhood
Right.
it's all about.
I think
It's
you-
that
that's
selfless
one
love.
word,
Yeah.
and you selflessness. I think
Yeah.
that's an attribute that mothers share.
Selfless, yes.
Being selfless in everything that they do.
Hmm. So, would you say, do you learn to become a mom, or is it something that comes to you naturally? As let's take the context of a woman. Is being a mom something you learn, or is it inborn? Do you naturally get to that place when you do?
I didn't learn how to be a mom. When you say, because how do you learn something that you don't even know how it feels like? So that bond, you don't feel that bond until you have that baby. So you can have all these imaginations. Like the bond starts growing actually when you're pregnant, and so you start having all these pictures in your mind of this human being, like you're growing a whole human in you, but you don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
So and it's not until when you actually see that baby and hold that baby and you realize that your life is different. So it just comes like the nurturing part. It's something that just comes. It just kicks in. It's like, oh, I have to take care of this child. I have to make sure this child is fine. I have to make sure he or she is eating. Just being, like she said, selfless. Just putting that
The
baby.
needs before you.
The needs before you. It's something I feel like, to me, it just came. I never planned for it. I didn't even know what to expect. But as days go by, you just see yourself taking those tasks up, like just doing what you have to do. And it's something, I feel like we're kind of blessed in that way.
Yeah, I agree with you, because I think it comes naturally, like you said. You can read books when you are pregnant, read all these stories about other women who did this and did that. But if once the child comes, there is that natural instinct that just pops in, and you just start doing things that you didn't know you are capable of doing.
Right.
Yeah,
True.
it's a natural feeling, a natural thing that just comes
I think
in.
like dads, those are things that we cannot imagine. Because I feel like the experiences for mothers and dads are totally
Different.
Oh, yeah,
It's definitely different.
it's different.
Because when you're pregnant or you already start developing this bond with your child, through 9 months, and then when you have this baby, this delicate human being in your hand at birth, like you said, your priority shifts, right?
It totally, like, dads, it's still foreign to them. So like they are excited about it. They are excited that there's a baby coming. They don't feel it, like only when like they start with the kicks. So you can see them like putting their hands on your belly to feel the kicks, and they're like, oh, there's a human. But you actually the woman, you feel it right before even the kicks. There's just that something that's growing in you. Is like you're more careful. You're trying to like take care of yourself. It's like you're feeling you want to care for that baby, that human in your body, and then when the baby comes, it's like then dads now have to come and start adjusting to it. But and then it just kicks in naturally, right? So you're like, oh, this is what I have to do. I have to be this person for this baby. So
Right.
it's I mean, I can't speak for the dad position. I'm not.
Oh,
Well,
I
that-
can-
that
I can
dads
speak
have
for the
their-
dads
You
position.
can, yeah, you can,
It's
yeah.
not Father's Day.
Yeah,
so
so-
we're not gonna go there.
The dads
Yeah.
have their own
Yeah,
way
I'm
of
just
feeling it,
feeling
but
it, yeah.
it's definitely different
It's
from
different,
the way
yeah. That's for
the
sure.
mothers feel it.
That's
That
right.
will
Yeah.
put their heads there and listen and try to feel. But what is inside a
Yeah.
woman, they
Yeah.
really feel it
Yeah.
differently. At times, some people start feeling it even when they don't even know that they are pregnant. They start having that feeling.
That feeling.
And
Yeah.
then once it starts growing and you know that there is something growing there, you start changing your perspective of life. It's not me now, it's somebody there. You see, when people say, oh, I have to change my diet because there's somebody growing in, things just change naturally. So,
And just think about how it is, like, even when the baby is growing, like the fear in you that something should happen to the baby in
Exactly.
you.
Yeah.
It's real. Like, you're like waking up every morning, making sure there's a heartbeat. If the baby doesn't kick, I'm gonna say from my experience, like my baby used to be very agile in me, and the days I wake up in the morning and
So
he's
quiet.
so quiet, I'm like, oh my god, I have to call the doctor. I hope the baby's okay. And then they'll be like, no, the heartbeat is fine. It's it's all
That's
the
that instinct,
That
yeah.
instinct is like
Mothering
you,
instinct.
yeah, the mothering instinct, yeah. So
Interesting.
So I am going to come back a little bit to the things you might be able to learn, or if you did learn anything growing up. So, for example, I'll take my case. For example, I have an elder sister. I have 3 younger people behind me. So when the fourth was born, I noticed my elder sister doing a little bit more of, say, going to console baby when baby is crying, feeding baby at times, and doing all that. Are there values that parents can teach their daughters or their son about nurturing and mothering in that sense? Looking at it from that perspective of what can I learn from someone about being able to care for a child, for example?
I would say, like we earlier said, it's a natural instinct. But what we learn when we see other people while growing, what we see other people doing, is something that it comes to you, and then you remember that this is what somebody did while I was growing up. This is what I am supposed to do. So those are the things you learn. It's not that the natural feeling of being a mother
No,
comes
you-
from
no,
learning.
from learning, no.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
true.
it's just that fact that what they were doing to this baby when she was little, that is what I need to do,
yeah.
because I feel the need to do it to this little baby that is placed in front of me. Yeah.
Yes.
yeah, I think you said it all. Like the natural instinct comes to mother, but you can always learn just by seeing what's going on around you. Like
The
your
classic
mom, yeah,
argument of nature versus nurture, right?
yeah,
Exactly.
exactly,
It's
yeah.
Right,
more-
you
it's
got
more
it.
Nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
than it is nurture.
Yeah, it's exactly. So it's an interesting journey for sure.
Yeah. So impact. I know that's something that I am looking forward to kind of talk about. The impact that having a child or being a mother or mothering has been. Any real impacts?
Whoa.
Life changes?
Of course.
Things like that?
I can drink. I'm
Yeah, of course, you can.
Are we supposed to say the truth, or we're supposed to cut some stuff
I'm
out?
just being honest.
Yeah.
My goodness. Those are the
Yeah, I mean, if you enjoy drinking, that's
Yeah,
a
of
big
course.
change.
I mean,
You can't even-
that's a huge change. It's thinking about what you have to give up for this child.
Yeah.
I mean, it's beautiful, but to me, like, your life takes a U-turn. So, for example, love going out with friends, but now I can't go out because I have to think. Yeah, I know, but I have to think. Oh, who's gonna look after the baby, right? And it's huge. It's
And even when
huge.
God, you're still worried.
You're
about
still
the
worried.
Exactly.
You're still
There
worried.
is a
baby.
baby
You can't
that
do
is-
Anything.
Yeah, you can't.
And then there is always this feeling in mothers that nobody takes care of my child better than I do. So when they leave a child with somebody, they are always thinking, what is going on with the baby? Is she eating? Maybe she's crying. There's always that
There's
feeling
al- yeah.
inside
Somebody
you.
that can
Yeah.
replace mom.
No, because even when the child is with, I have to call. Like, is the baby okay?
Right.
Has he eaten? It's all those things. So, your mind is, if you want to do something, but your mind is with the baby. Your mind is like, so your whole life takes a U-turn. You're not.
So, for you, Dr. T, your kids are not that young. I know they're probably 13 plus, right?
Yeah.
Is the feeling different? Is it the same kind of feeling, or is it does how does that change?
I would say things change over time, right? At the early stages of their lives, you are like just there. Just all your life is about them. You go anywhere, you think only about the kids that are at home or in daycare. Whatever you are doing, that's what clouds your mind. And then as they are growing, you start seeing a different aspect of the kids. Well, you get a little bit of freedom, but you get worried in a different way as well. These are teenagers. What are they doing? It's always about them, right? You keep every aspect of your life aside, and all what you think about is, what about my kids? I remember when they were growing up, when I go to the shop, I tell myself I'm going to get something for myself. By the time I come back home, I have bags full of kids stuff, not mine. You can't like go out freely. You have 3 kids to think about. So I remember when we have to, like, there is maybe a funeral or
Sorry